Govannen, niblings. Let's play LotRO, episode 83. So I'm here in Combe. I was working my way towards, from the Lone Lands, where I was doing the level 30 Bjorning quest, back to Evendim. And of course I came through Bree-land, and I remembered reading something about an update, a recent update to the game. And that's that, in one of the recent updates, they changed some of the landscape around Bree. And I know I didn't really spend a whole lot of time in Bree in previous episodes, but I did come to Combe and Arch it, at least once. And if you remember correctly, there used to be a big cliff right here, and they've changed it to be more of a rolling hill. And there used to be this this big cliff that went all the way around the edge of Arch it here. And they've removed that and made it look like a much more natural landscape. And it looks really good, honestly. This is... I rode around a... Whoops, I fell off there. I was going to try to ride up next to that wall. I rode around a little bit before starting the video, but just, it looks really good. I'm really impressed. The old version really just looked like, I mean, it didn't look natural. Like, I have never seen any natural cliff faces that form a perfect little circle like that around a town. I mean, I'm sure somewhere something like that exists. But this just definitely fits the atmosphere, I think, more of Arch it. Like, see, I can go all the way around Arch it now. And from what I understand, the town itself, the towns of Arch it and Combe, really haven't changed any, as far as I know. Or not very much, anyway. And none of the quests are different. They just changed the landscape. And they really released this without much fanfare. There was very little mention of it. I think it was just... I'm not even sure it was mentioned in the patch notes, although I don't read all of the patch notes all the way through every time. But yeah, just there was not a whole lot of buzz about this. And honestly, this is one of my favorite things that they've done recently, is update the landscape here to just look more natural. It really felt like just like a video game level. Like, and I mean, it's not that that's bad. Like, I never disliked it before. I thought it was fine. It was like, it always makes sense to me. Arch it is a starting zone for, you know, some of the major characters in the game, and it makes sense to me that that they wouldn't want newbies wandering out, especially when MMOs were newer, back when this game came out, and the game was a little bit harder then, but and there were death penalties and such, and there aren't death penalties anymore. They removed those. And so it would have been easy for newbies to just wander off outside of the starting zone and get lost. So yeah, all of this is open now. There used to be, where I'm riding, there used to be a cliff, and you couldn't really pass from this part of Bree down here up into this part of Bree, because this part of Bree is low level. Like, well, Arch it, first of all, is like level 5. Then this part of Bree is between level 5 and level 10. And this part up here is level 20. That's a pretty big difference when you're between level 5 and 10, and then you come up here and you start hitting level 20 creatures. You know, they're gonna finish you off pretty handily. It looks like they haven't really updated the map. The map still shows the cliffs here. So, but it looks really good. And, you know, they added some newer foliage and stuff. I'm very impressed with it. I think they did a great job. So, additionally, they changed Bree a little bit. So I do want to go down to Bree and take a look at that. These are the Blackwalled headquarters, which is an old Arnorian fortress. And I did come here to do a quest at one point in one video. I've never seen it from this angle, because you couldn't get back here before. I really like the way they did it, the way that there's this moat around the rock here, and this is like the big stronghold. And it's got these other parts to it back here. That's really cool. So, and then you do still have some big cliffs over here once you get closer to the Weather Hills. Because that was kind of the idea. Like, I showed this game once to a friend of mine, who is an English professor and a big fan of Lord of the Rings. And I showed her Archet, and she said, why are there are these big cliffs surrounding Archet? The only hills in Bree-land mentioned in the book are the Barrow Downs and the Weather Hills, and Bree-land itself is supposed to be, you know, a bit more flat. And I told her it's just a concession to video game mechanics. And she said, you know, she thought it would look better without those cliffs, and I mean, I agreed. I certainly agreed. So, I think it's cool that they did this, and I think at this point, new people joining the game are less likely to be confused. I mean, especially because they've added the quest tracker now. Like, when the game first launched, there was no quest tracker. That this right here, where it showed you where your quests were. That didn't exist when the game first launched, so it was a lot easier to get lost. And so I think with the quest launcher and the fact that MMOs are an established genre now, lots of gamers are familiar with how MMOs work. A lot of people making new characters aren't even new to the game anymore. Like LotRO has an established player base at this point. So I think it was a good call on their part. So yeah, this part where I am now looks pretty much the same. I don't think this part here, this part of Chetwood and Midgewater Marsh has been changed at all. Maybe some of the foliage has been updated some. But the landscape looks pretty much the same. I'd be curious to know if there were any more subtle changes. These hills right here are lower. There used to be a bit of a... There were higher hills right here, so you couldn't go straight north. See, the hills are on the map still. You couldn't go straight north here into Chetwood. You had to go either around to the east or over towards Combe to the west. But, like, these ruins where I am right now, these look exactly the same as far as I can tell. And I don't think they changed Staddle at all. I would be curious to know if they changed anything else. I heard that they kind of did some atmospheric changes to the Old Forest, but I'm not going to spend the entire episode looking around Bree-land. I do want to get back to Evendon. Or you know what, maybe I will spend the whole episode just touring Bree-land. So yeah, the marshes here don't look any different. Alright, I'm already halfway through the episode time anyway. I'm going to go ahead and spend the whole episode just looking around. I want to see if they changed the cliff wall to the south at all. I think it's still the same, but I want to see. Yeah, this part of the Midgewater looks mostly the same. I do think some of the foliage has been updated. Like because they've made more since the game launch. Because this was one of the oldest regions in the game. Yeah, so the cliff wall here looks... Well, you know, it looks different. It's still there, but I think they changed the texture. I think it used to be that more flat, grayish, reddish texture, and I think they changed it to look a little more natural. If I'm remembering correctly. It looks really good, actually. I thought you used to be able to go around this to the south, around these ruins, Ost-Baranor. Maybe I'm mistaken, though. I think I came here at one point to do one of the deeds in Bree-land. Alright, I want to go see Andrath, and then I'll go up to Bree. I don't think they changed the Barrow Downs any. Yeah, so I thought I remembered these cliffs being just like these cliffs here. Maybe I'm remembering incorrectly, though. I would have to go back and look at some of my older videos. Alright. Andrath looks pretty similar. I don't think this has changed any. Remember this hollow still being here. Yeah, this all looks the same. I always liked this, though. Like, this... It only gets a little mention in the books, but... I was wondering what this is up here. I think that's the... one of the reputation areas. But yeah, Andrath only gets a little mention in the books, but it is, you know, it's like a... It's a, what do you call it? A strategically important location, I suppose, would be how it would be described. That's why there's a fortress there. Back when there were actually kingdoms in this part of Middle-earth. Alright. I head into Bree. Have a look around. If I remember, only certain parts of Bree were changed. Mainly Bree Hill. In the books, Bree Hill is where hobbits live. And you couldn't ever really get up on... Oh, I'm lagging a good bit. Alright, yeah, it's getting better now. Yeah, so this part looks pretty much the same. Yep, that's the road down to the reputation area, the lodge. So yeah, Bree Hill is where the hobbits live, and this must be the Dwarven Enclave. This was here, I just don't think I ever really looked at it all that much before. Yeah, and this place has been here a while. So yeah, all this is pretty much the same. Although I do think maybe they updated some of the textures a little. I'm trying to remember. This part right here might be different. I can't remember. I'm not sure. Might have been there before. Oh, nice. It's got the scepter. I don't think I noticed that before. I don't know if that's changed or not. The west gate looks pretty much the same. There's the vault. Those mannequins have been there for a while. Alright, so Bree Hill. In the books, they don't ever go to Bree Hill, but Bree Hill is just... This is Bree Hill here. And Bree is built, you know, around the edge of the hill, like this. And Bree Hill is part of the town of Bree. However, the hobbits who settled in Bree settled up on the hill, digging into its sides in true hobbit fashion. And you couldn't get up any higher than this, really, before the update. And so they've added it. They've added this stuff where you can get up here and you can see these little hobbit holes. And you can get up to this ruined tower. You can get up on the hill here. And yeah, none of this was accessible before. So you can look down over all of Bree. There's the prancing pony right there. This is pretty cool. It's a nice view. So let's see, what am I looking at? These are the Blackwalled ruins, I believe, back there. The Blackwalled headquarters. Or, oh no, that's the wall around Archet. Right there. Yeah. And there's Archet right there. And then Combe should be over here. That's Staddle down there, and then Combe is down in here. You can kind of see it through the trees. Let me get right down there. Yep, there's Combe right there. There's Combe. And there's Staddle. And there's those ruins east of Staddle. I can't remember what they're called. They're actually not marked on the map. But yeah, then you've got the marsh beyond. So can I get up here? Trying to get up on that little part. Let's see if I can find a way up. No, it looks like there's an invisible wall there. Yeah, there's some kind of invisible wall there, so I can't get up on that part. So it looks like this right here is the main peak that I can get up on. And look out over Bree. Whoop! Had some kind of... I think I lagged a little bit there and ended up falling off the edge. Oh, no, I seem to be falling through the terrain there. Well, maybe they can fix that at a later date. I like this spot better anyway. Alright, well, I think I'm going to end the episode here. Thanks for joining me. In the next episode, I will get back to Evan Dim. So, tune in next time, Niblings.